Hello everyone, Chaos here, and welcome to another old school RuneScape video. Today, my revamped 1 to 99 farming guide. With farming, you will grab different seeds in the game to plant them at their respective patches scattered across RuneScape, to then return and harvest them for experience. You can do this for profit or for your own use with other skills. Just like real life, but obviously much faster, the core of this skill is planting stuff, wait, and just harvest. We have tons of options in the game to give it amazing variety, and it's definitely one of the most chill ones in the game. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing with notifications on, drop a cheeky like, and be on the lookout for more 1 to 99 guides coming this year. These are all the quests that provide farming experience as of the time of making this video. Remember that some of them have a farming level requirement, and you may not be able to do them right away. The only quest I recommend for the first 9 levels is a recipe for the Saster subquest involving the general goblins. Other than that, even if these numbers look juicy, by the time you can do these quests, you might be higher level if you plant and harvest stuff casually. But hey, it doesn't really hurt to know what quest to do for that little extra push. Now, for the recommended quests for farming, we have way more than the rune crafting guide, but I'll try my best at a quick summary. Everything you see on screen is used to aid in farming in one way or another. Keep in mind that you don't need anything for some of the patches we will visit, but what I'm about to mention is just to make it better. For herb runs, you will need the following: My Arm's Big Adventure for Trollheim, Making Friends with My Arm for Vice, Fairy Tale Parts 1 and 2 for the Magic Secators and the Fairy Rings, and Lunar Diplomacy for the Catherby Teleport optionally. For the tree run, I recommend Tree Gnome Village for Spirit Trees, Morning's End Part 1 for access to Ledia, Song of the Elves for access to Priffinus, and Bone Voyage for access to Fossil Island. For things that aren't quests, I also recommend the Elite Mauritania Diary for Harmony Island, the Medium Kandarin Diary or higher for more herbs at Catherby, and 65% Hosidius favor to access the farming guild at different tiers. Unsurprisingly enough, the list of useful items related to farming are also quite high. I will mention the most crucial ones and then give you a list of other things you may implement when training this skill, like teleport for example. This is going to sound a bit stupid, but you literally cannot train farming without seeds and saplings. I will go over which ones I recommend planting at what level for the best outcome. You'll want to be wearing your magic secators at all times during your crop runs to increase your yield at some patches. You get this powerful item after completion of Fairy Tale Part 1. Then we have Compost, Super Compost, and Ultra Compost. You can make them yourself or buy them at the GE, and then add them to a bottomless compost bucket for double the use. Last but not least, we have the Farmer's Outfit. This is not mandatory, but it's going to increase all farming experience by 2.5%, and you get it from the Tithe Farm, which we will mention later on. To save on a lot of time for the video, what you're seeing on screen right now is a collection of items and teleports to take you directly or even near patches we will visit. I won't mention every single thing, but I will try my best at making a well-rounded inventory for you to go to every patch. Last but not least, I recommend you carry payment items for farmers to look after your trees. These depend on which tree you are planting and are very much worth it to avoid wasting expensive saplings. For farming, I have 3 useful plugins for you. The first one is called Time Tracking. This will let you know when each of your crops will be ready, and you can even toggle notifications for the screen to flash whenever your stuff is ready, but will not take the season into account. Time Tracker Reminder will take these timers from the Runelite sidebar to your screen, and will also let you know when your crops are ready for you to prepare for your next run. The last one is called Tithe Farm. The only thing it does is let you know when you have to water the plants, and it's a great visual reminder of how much time you have left before each cycle. As I've said before, more about this specific method later down the road. Alright, the structure of this part of the video will go as follows. I will show you 3 ways to level up farming: herb and allotment runs, tree runs, and then the Tithe Farm. For everyone, I will show you a general run and what I recommend to plant at each level after the route. After those, we will talk about the farming guild, which is also crucial for your road to 99, since it has a ton of great tools to make farming even better. Also, one final thing to note, remember that my herb and tree runs are done this way out of personal preference, and are by no means the most efficient. My farming run starts at Vice by using an Icy Basalt. Remember that to access this patch, you need to complete the quest Making Friends with My Arm, and build the Fire of Nourishment nearby. Since this is my first stop, I grab my bottomless compost bucket with Ultra Compost on it, a spade, and a seed dibber. What you will do for every single patch is rake it if there are weeds, use compost on it, and then use your seed on it to plant it. Whatever items you get from the patches, you can use them on the Tool Leprechaun, and he will note them for you. Do this after every patch. Next, I go to Trollheim. You can use a Stony Basalt teleport also after completion of Making Friends with My Arm. To be placed on the top of the stairs, you need completion of the Hard Fremennik Diary along with 73 agility. If you don't have any of these, your best bet is to teleport to Trollheim, run down the mountain, and then climb up from the inside of the stronghold. This patch cannot catch disease since a troll is looking after it. The final single patch for herbs is located in Harmony Island. The hard requirement to use it is the Elite Mauritania Diary. The best way to get there is with a Harmony Island teleport, but if you don't have it, you can use an ectophile to go to the docks northeast, or a Musla Harmless teleport and have Brother Tranquility take you there. Up next I travel to Hosidius. I use the mounted Jerik's Talisman on my POH to go to the second teleport, which is a Jerik's Blade, and to travel a few tiles south for the patches. No requirements for this one, but at 50% favor, there won't be any disease. For more experience, you may now use the allotment patches for fruit or vegetables, and the flower patches for limpwort root, which will be the best bang for your buck. I will then go to the Mauritania patch, and for it, I dial the fairy ring code ALQ. You may also carry an ectophile if you're not using fairy rings for the herb run. Travel north for another full patch, and as long as you have the access to Mauritania after Priest in Peril, there are no requirements for this one. Up next, I use my Explorer's Ring 3 or higher for unlimited teleports to the Cabbage Field south of the next patch. Other alternatives include the Spirit Tree at Port Sarim, Draenor Village, or Falador teleport in the worst case scenario. This is the second of 4 patches that is absolutely free to use without a single requirement other than getting there. I will then use my Artie Cloak 2 or higher to go to the Artie patch, which is the third one that isn't locked behind a single requirement. If your cape runs out of daily charges, you can get there with a skills necklace to a fishing guild, a combat bracelet to the ranging guild, or the all-reliable a cheeky Artie teleport. Plant your stuff and then leave. The fourth and final patch is completely free to use and it is on Catherby. My go-to is a Catherby teleport on the Lunar Spellbook, otherwise teleport to Camelot and to travel southeast. This is where I recommend having any tier of the Kandarin Diary complete past the medium one, because it's going to increase your yield from the herb patch. Last and definitely not least, we will go to the Farming Guild. You need 65% Hosidius favor to enter, and then you will require 45 farming for the eastern entrance, 65 for the western one, and level 85 for the northern one. For now, I will only touch on herb, flower, and allotment patches. Go to the left and plant your final herb. Then, if you want to, go to the eastern part of the guild to plant your flower and your fruits or vegetables. After you're done, store all your tools on the leprechaun and bank on the chest in the central area. Remember that your herbs grow every 80 minutes if they don't catch any disease. So, it would be a good idea to set up a notification to tell you when to go on your next run. You may do it more often since allotment patches and flower patches grow faster, but it's going to be super inconvenient. And now for the important part of the segment, what seeds to plant at each level. Let's begin with the simple ones. For allotment patches, I always recommend the highest seed you can use for the best experience output. For the flower one, I also recommend the highest seed available up until level 26, when you will start farming limpwort roots exclusively. These are always used for herb lore, and the price of the seed versus the crop will guarantee a ton of profit every run. For herbs, the general rule of thumb is that you want to stick to cheap seeds whose herbs are either expensive, or just a single herb will cover the cost of the entire seed. Outside of the initial herbs, also, I recommend planting seeds at about 5 levels higher than when you are able to farm them. For experience, I simply recommend planting the best seed you can except for Raynar, Snapdragon, and Torstal. For example, if you are level 60 farming and start planting Quorum seeds for which you need level 56, and you notice that they still die a lot, you can bump that down to Avanto until you gain a few more levels and then go back to Quorums. It's important to note that since Vice, Trollheim, and Hosidius patches do not catch disease, you may plant Raynar, Snapdragon, or even Torstal here, since they are guaranteed to grow and you can make a decent profit. Now we are going to jump to the tree run. Wood trees grow between 3 and 8 hours, and fruit trees will always take 16 hours to grow. So typically, I recommend doing a full tree run at the end of the day, or if you want to maximize your experience, you can set up notifications to replant trees whenever they grow. For the tree run, I will take magic and palm saplings along with coconut and papaya for protection. I will also take a Calquat sapling with 8 poison ivy berry and 1 crystal sapling for Priffinus. I will show you how to get to each patch, but you can adjust to your unlocks. I will also do a separate run to plant a Celastrus, Redwood, and 3 mahogany trees which need 8 potato cactus, 6 dragon fruit, and 75 Yenilian hops respectively. I start my run at Catherby, and for this you only need your spade for your tools. Check the current tree's health, and harvest the crops to then note them at the tool leprechaun. You carry coins on you because you can pay the farmer to remove the tree altogether for you to use your sapling on the patch. Right-click Pay the Farmer and wait for the tree to grow. I then like to go to Brimhaven since you can travel there from Catherby docks and it only takes a few coins. You can also go there via Spirit Tree or even the construction or the achievement diary cape. Watch out for the spider roaming around, check your tree, plant a new one, and pay up. Run south past some buildings and, well, a lot of trees, and you will find a Calquet tree north of the Taipo Wane village. This is considered a special patch, so harvest your Calquet fruit, plant a new sapling, and pay up 8 poison ivy berries. For the next one, you want a crystal teleport seed, whether it be a charged or unlimited one. This will take us to the elf city of Ledia, and there's a fruit tree patch east of where the teleport takes you. If no teleport here, might as well skip it because it's pretty inconvenient to get here without it. Go to Varrock and then run north into the castle grounds. We will go for the first wood tree towards the eastern entrance. For this one, just check the health and pay up to remove the tree, to replant your sapling and pay for protection. Since we are pretty close to a spirit tree, go to the northeast corner of the Grand Exchange to use the spirit tree to take you to the Tree Gnome stronghold. First, head southwest for another wood tree, which is pretty close to Neaver's Teeth. Pay the gnome for protection and then head northeast. The next one is located east of the spirit tree that took us here. Harvest your fruit, pay to have the tree removed, and then plant the sapling to pay for protection. An elite western diary involves protecting a magic tree in the Tree Gnome stronghold. Since we are pretty close to the spirit tree, use it again to travel to the Tree Gnome village. Go west and talk to this dude to get out of the maze. Travel southwest to reach the next fruit tree to harvest your crops and to plant your next sapling. Go to Falador and make your way to the park. The next wood tree is right next to the entrance. Check its health, pay for the farmer to remove it, use a sapling on it, and pay for protection. A magic tree is needed for the elite Falador diary. Up next we will travel to Taverley, so you can run northwest or move your house there if you want to teleport with your POH. The patch is next to the hot air balloon, so follow the same process we've been doing so far to plant the next one. We are now going to teleport to Lumbridge, and the following patch can be found right behind the castle. It's pretty close to the Ham hideout, which is an absolutely amazing place to hang out, am I right, fellas? Just plant your stuff and peace out. If you have access to Profinus thanks to the Song of the Elves quest, you can turn crystal acorns into crystal saplings to plant them here. Since it's a tree made out of crystal, it's not going to need any protection, and by harvesting, you will get a humble amount of crystal shards. Alright, we're almost there. For the next one, we need 65 farming since the final wood tree can be found on the western part of the farming guild. Don't forget your host city's favor in order to unlock this wonderful place. Boys and girls, the last fruit tree will take us to the northern area of the farming guild, which also requires level 85 to access. The patch is directly west of the bank, so repeat what you have been doing for one final time to round out your wood and the fruit tree run. Now, the following trees all have different growth cycles, which is why I didn't include them in the main run, and you will instead do them whenever they are ready. The first one is a Solaster tree. There is only one of these patches available in the entire game, and it's at the northern part of the farming guild. You must pay the farmer 8 potato cactus for protection, and harvesting will give you Solaster's bark to turn into battle staves. Directly west you will see a redwood patch. These take a pretty considerable amount of time to grow and require 6 dragon fruit for protection. I actually got my farming pet from this one, so I like them quite a lot. By completing the Bone Voyage quest, you can go to Fossil Island, and you will find 3 patches northwest of the camp where you can plant either teak or mahogany trees. The best ones are obviously mahogany, so pay the squirrels 25 Yanilian hops each for protection. Before we move on to the Tithe Farm and then the roadmap, I will quickly talk about extra information regarding the farming guild. I've already talked about it during the urban tree run, so here are the most important parts about it. Guildmaster Jane can be found near the fountain. She will give you farming contracts, which is basically Slayer for farming. You will be assigned a plant to grow, and by doing it successfully she will give you a seed pack containing, well, seeds. You can be assigned to 3 tiers of contracts at level 45, 65, and 85, each with increasingly difficult plant to grow. I recommend doing this at the end of every single herb run and ask for a contract first in case she asks you to grow an herb. In the eastern part of the guild you have a big compost bin which can yield 30 compost buckets instead of 15. It also has the only other cactus patch in the game for you to grow either a cactus or a potato cactus. In the western part of the guild you will have a cave. Here is where the Hespori patch is located. By harvesting any crops in the game, you have a chance at receiving a Hespori seed to plant here. Once it grows, you can fight the Hespori. Simply put, you have to tag all 4 flowers around it, attack it while praying ranged and moving if it entangles you, damage it enough to do this 3 times, and finally kill it. Once you harvest it, it can give you one of 3 types of seeds to plant in the Anima patch. Plants here start working from the moment you plant them and will last for 3 full days. The Atta seed will provide more crops, the ISR seed will decrease disease chance, and the Chrono seed will have a chance of letting a plant skip a growth cycle. In short, stuff may grow faster. The final thing to note here is the seed vault located west of the bank chest. You can store any type of seed and sapling here for your bank to stay nice and clean. Ultimate Ironman may not use this tool, so stick to your seed box, you absolute masochist. Alright, to cool things down, we will talk about the Tithe Farm, which is the only way to actively train this skill outside of waiting for things to grow. To access, all you need is 100% Host City's favor and at least 34 farming. I also recommend Lunar Diplomacy with level 68 magic for Humidify and runes to cast this spell. Copy the gear you see on screen and go to this area to grab whatever seed you want from the table and go inside. You want to follow the route seen in this video in order to use a 20 spot for the fruit to grow. Use the seeds on the patches, and then manually use the watering can on your first lap to make it faster. Once the 4 nearby patches are full, grab an extra one to prepare for the next lap. Go back to the first seed you planted, and this time just simply click on the fruit to water it. If you have the plugin I told you about at the beginning, you will see how long you have until you need to water the plants again. Do this for a third time going around the same loop, and when the plant is ready, this time you will click on it to harvest it. Do this for all 100 seeds in your inventory. Now, imagine you have all 100 fruit on you. Deposit them at the sack next to the entrance, and you will get a chunky drop of experience along with 24 points. These will start counting after you harvest at least 75 plants, and every time one of them dies, it's going to give you 1 less point and obviously less experience. When you're done, go outside to grab more seeds, refill your watering cans, and repeat for as long as you want. When you are done, trade the farmer just outside of the farm, and you will be able to buy things such as the farmer's outfit, an herb sack, a seed box, and arguably the best reward, a passive effect for no more weed to grow on your patches. Now, the roadmap for this 1 to 99 guide is going to be very quick, and it's because, honestly, it all depends on how much money you want to spend or make from this skill. You could focus on herb runs and not plant a single tree, or you could even focus on trees and not worry about money making. Or you can do a combination of both. For herbs, I farmed low-level seeds until 45 for toadflax, and then I started planting worms at level 60. And finally, I stuck to Lantodime from 75 all the way to 99, planting Raynars or Snapdragons on the seeds-free patches. For wood trees, I stuck to U seeds after I unlocked them. And for fruit trees, I kept planting papaya trees since magic and palm saplings were pretty expensive back then, and I only showcased them for my videos. I know that this is not going to sound super useful, but remember to do your own herb and tree runs to see how much money you make and how much you spend in order to find a proper balance until you're happy with how much money your 99 farming will involve. Again, if you have any questions, remember to join our Discord and ask us for general advice. Ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it for the farming guide. Thank you so much for coming and for making it this far. If you did, make sure to tell me how you would get level 99 or if you already have it. A massive thank you to all my channel members. You boys and girls are absolutely insane, and your support does go a long way. If you want to be part of this list of absolute legends, click on the join button below to subscribe monetarily and receive a ton of benefits in the videos, in the live streams, and of course in the Discord. Stay tuned for the next video and of course for the next 1 to 99 guide, where we will see how to achieve mastery in the fire making skill. Have an amazing day, have an amazing week, and I will see you then. Peace.